Hey, welcome to this video. If you're new here, consider sticking around through this video and maybe checking out some other ones. I do a lot of FPV drone flying on this channel, but today's going to be something a bit different. So what is the difference between an FPV drone and an FPV plane? An FPV drone, like a mini quad or the 5-inch freestyle drones that I fly, are very acrobatic, very nimble, super easy to maneuver them in and around obstacles. An FPV plane, on the other hand, is a bit more of a difficult beast. When you're flying a plane, you have to maintain forward momentum in order to generate lift, and therefore you are fully committed to whatever direction you're traveling in. I've only flown an FPV plane one time. It was a mini wing that I slapped the little all-in-one camera on, and it was a good time until I smacked into a guy wire for a telephone pole and ripped it in half. So today is going to be a really cool video. A company called HEEWING reached out to me and sent me the T2 Cruza. This is a plug-and-play 6S dual motor FPV platform, fixed wing platform. Now this is something that I do not have a lot of experience in, so this is something that we are going to go through together through the eyes of a beginner. So stay with me. We'll get through this together. Now, in full transparency, I've already opened this box to make sure that everything was in it, so I would be prepared to film this video. And everything was in it, and it's in the exact same state it was when I first opened it. So this is an authentic unboxing experience, but I just wanted to clarify that I have already looked inside, and so I'm not going to pretend to be surprised or anything. We're just going to go over it together. So here it is. This is the box that got sent to me from HEEWING. It contains the T2 Cruza plug-and-play model. There are two latches on the front of this case. You just pull them out like that and then give a little bit of a lift. And the box opens just like that. This is a fantastic design, in my opinion. Everything for the plane packs down into this box so you can easily transport it to the flying field or wherever you're going to fly the plane. Inside it came with some extra stickers. These are the stickers that go on the outside of the box. So I guess if you were to damage those stickers, you could replace them with new ones, or stick them on your car, maybe, whatever. And the instruction manual, which basically just shows the assembly of the plane, but this is not a very in-depth manual. It basically explains how everything clicks together for assembly, and that's about it. So when you open the case, everything is packed away nicely. So let's go ahead and start removing items from the case and set them on our workbench here. The first thing that pops out to me, and might be to you, is this fuselage. This fuselage is enormous. This is a really large fuselage. It has a dual piece hatch that comes off, giving you access to the interior. There is room in here for a large battery and, of course, any avionics equipment you want to install. It has a integrated power distribution board that sends the voltage from the battery to the ESCs in the wings and all of the servos. In the back here is a spot to mount a GPS, or really anything you want, but from what the research I've done, this is a spot for a GPS. The front has a removable nose cone. The nose cone is supported by these two plywood pieces, or is this balsa or plywood pieces that extend into the fuselage, and it is attached with two screws. Inside, there is a place to mount your FPV camera and your VTX on the top. And there is a small cutout, 3 cutouts actually, that you can remove in order to route your FPV antenna through the top of the nose cone. What's interesting about this and what I like about this form factor is that your entire FPV system, camera, VTX, antenna, it can all stay mounted in the nose cone. And then if you need to service it for any reason, you can just remove the nose cone. And instead of having to like get into different parts of the plane to access your equipment. So that's nice. We're going to go ahead and put the fuselage back together momentarily, and we'll move on to the next part. So here we have the tail, the horizontal stabilizer with elevator. It straps onto this little foam block and is held in place with a Velcro strap. This elevator is quite large. It looks pretty durable. This is some kind of EPP type foam. It's got a spot there to attach our control horn, and we've got our dual servos here. One will send our control linkage back to the elevon, and the other will control our rudder. This here is our rudder piece. The rudder piece just pulls out like that. As you notice here, the rudder is attached with this small spar. It goes into this anodized piece until it clicks, and a small servo controls the rudder, and it is a full control surface, the entire rudder, which I think is very neat, very interesting looking. On the other side of the case, very securely put in here are the wings. I really think this is an elegant solution. The wings are strapped in place. You can just unstrap, and then a gentle pull out will release them from the spot that's holding them in. Here's one wing, and as we get access to the top of the motor, you can see it's running a 2216 750 kV brushless motor. And this is the production model, so it's using HEEWING branded motors. Some of the other reviews I saw, they came with Sunny Sky motors. I don't know if these are Sunny Sky motors that have been rebranded, or if they are in fact made to a different spec specifically for HEEWING. What I do like is that the motor, or the propeller shafts, have already been installed on these motors instead of coming in a bag. And there are some nice little grippers there on the top of the motor to kind of hold that propeller. Now we'll take this small block out, and we can access the second wing. And those are the main parts of the plane, minus the shaft. The shaft comes with 2 rubberized protectors on it. The shaft comes with 2 rubberized protectors on it, and if I remove them, you can see on either of the shaft there are the connector pins. Now one side of the shaft is keyed. You can see the key here, it's a small button. And that keyed part of the shaft is what fits into the tail section. You can see that the receptacle on the tail section is keyed as well. So what we can do is take our tail boom and attach it to the tail section until you hear a satisfying click. That ain't going anywhere. other half of the boom goes into the rear of the fuselage, and using the tail section for your orientation, you can slide it into the fuselage until you hear it click into place. And this goes in quite a ways before it actually clicks. There we go. Now you have kind of the length of the plane established. You can kind of understand how large this plane is. Also in the box are your 2 spars. These are, I'm going to assume, carbon fiber spars. You have 2 of them, and they attach through the fuselage and go into both wings. So there's 2 places for your spars here on either side of the wing connections. And these are decently sized spars. I mean, they stick out, I don't know, 6 inches or so on either side of the fuselage. That should provide plenty of support to the wing. Now what we do is we look onto our wing surface. The side of the wing surface that has the servo arm exposed is the top of the wing. So that is how you identify what side your wing goes on. You'll place the wing into the spars, or place the spars into the wing rather, and then it will slide all the way up to the fuselage and into this connector here. After you slide the wing all the way up to the fuselage, there are 2 lock screws on the inside. You'll twist those 90 degrees to lock the wing into the fuselage and make the connection. There you go, you can see the lock screws or the locking latches have been rotated into the locked position, and now this wing is attached to the fuselage. So we'll just repeat the steps for the other wing, and then this will be assembled. Now when you're placing this wing onto the fuselage, it's important that you support the back side of the fuselage while you're pushing on the wing, because this is foam and it will flex, and what you don't want to do is, possibly crack or bend, warp your foam. So just put your hand on the back of the fuselage and support while you're snugging up that wing, and then reach in and snap that latch into the 90-degree position. And now we'll put our rear hatch on, our front hatch on, and now we have a clear view of just how large this airplane is when it's all put together. Now let's look at some of the other things that come into the box with it. So here we have some laser cut wooden parts. We've got 2 bracers here. I'll have to do some digging to see where these necessarily would mount. We have what looks like a VTX mounting platform. I'm going to assume that you would take this this small wooden bracket and glue it into here with your VTX mounted to it. So that way it would be solidly attached to the inside of the foam. And then also in this bag we have our battery tray. So we'll go ahead and open it. Included in that bag is also a battery strap. This is a really nice quality battery strap. The stitching on it looks good. I don't know if it's Kevlar reinforced, but it does have some rubbery strands incorporated into the weave of the material that give it a grippy quality, which is nice. And then here's our battery tray. The battery tray will mount to the inside of the fuselage. It aligns with the hole pattern on either of the side rails, and then you can run your strap through the battery tray, and that will secure the battery down onto the tray. What I'll probably do is maybe add a little bit of grip or another type of sticky battery pad to the top of that tray, just to make sure it doesn't slide or rock around.
So are these just hatches for your VTX, wherever you want to put it?
So yeah, this is where a GPS would go.
Okay.
And then up here, so this is kind of cool how they have this. So you mount your VTX to this tray, and it fits right in there like that.
Nice.
And then you run your antenna up through here and stick it out the top, put your camera in there, and then there's a vent that sits over the top of it that redirects your
because VTX gets hot.
yeah, redirects your airflow down through that hole, so it basically flows it all around your VTX. Also, special thank you to my friend Adrian for letting me film in his garage, and also for helping me with things, because he knows a lot more about planes than I do. Yeah, I can see it. There are, so this needs to go the other way. So you don't even have to glue this. Oh, that's nice.
Cool.
Wow. Imagine reading the instruction manual.
So this goes here, and then you hang it up or something.
It could, but I think this is a GoPro mount, and I think this goes up in the front. These were not in there, and they look like they would mount in here.
They're bonus parts.
The rest of this video is going to be very informal, guys. I hope you know that, because this is literally a beginner doing this.
I'm guessing you're going to have some editing.
I just got to show you guys this manual. This manual, it kind of shows you how the pieces click together, and that's really it. So the rest is kind of like figuring out what goes where. If there was one gripe that I had with this, it would be that there's no like step-by-step.
At least there's pictures.
But honestly, I don't think this is marketed for beginners. So
it's not a good first plane, but
no,
maybe a second or third would be fine.
Yes, and I've flown some planes. I've built some planes. I still even feel like this is a bit out of my comfort zone.
So are these supposed to glue in, or are they just mechanical? It looks like they're made to work without glue.
Yeah, these are you screw them.
The screw in.
Yeah, you screw them in.
That's pretty easy.
Please. All right, so the control horns come in 2 pieces. One goes on the rear. One goes on the back side, and one goes on the side that you are going to be controlling with your servo. This goes on the back side, and then you run a screw up through the bottom into the control horn to attach it. True. All right.
I think the first step would be to
I literally just had that on camera of me like looking at this and then being like, oh, turn it up.
Oh, they even give you like pre-measurements, but
Okay, here we go. The PA 2x6 is what goes.
They tell you. Awesome. That's
that's here. PA 2x6, 7 pieces.
We guessed right. So
it doesn't show which one's for the battery tray. I'm assuming they're going to.
It's these.
It's the process of elimination.
It's these. It's definitely these.
Whichever ones you haven't used yet.
These are the right ones.
Okay.
But first, I think we need to get a receiver hooked up so that everything centers.
Okay, so I have one, and it's already done on my radio because I pulled it out of the Mustang.
Poor Mustang.
Right. So I'm just going to select the receiver and center my trims.
And center your sub trims as well.
I will do that.
20,000 million dollars worth of battery in here. It's alive. So are we live? Alright, so let's check and make sure I got it plugged in right. Ailerons? Elevator?
So this would be pushing, yeah, so this is already the...
That's elevator? Okay,
Yeah.
I think everything's hooked up right. So I would just leave it on while we set it up.
Okay.
Because then...
You want to explain to them the smartness of this? Because
yeah, when you're setting up your control surfaces, if it's plugged into your receiver with your radio system, everything's going to stay centered as long as you keep it powered. The most important thing though is you leave your props off because you don't want to chop your fingers up. Ask me how I know.
Alright, so I guess first thing we'll do is install our control horns, right?
Yeah.
Because we'll need those on our control surfaces.
And they actually tell you how long to make your push rods for a starting point.
That's fine.
So they show you how you're supposed to set them up. And it'll take some doing, but I'll have to just screw it up until it gets to the right scale here on the instructions.
Awesome. And then we'll make some maybe minor adjustments just to make sure the control surface is neutral.
Exactly.
Cool.
Get some pliers to cheat here.
And then I'll get the control horns put on since
Sounds great.
that's something I don't think I could mess up too bad. So here we are, just a close-up. We've got our control horn on the top surface there on the same side of the wing as our servo arm. And then you can see on the underside, we just sandwiched it with the bottom plate and one of the 2x6 screws. Here we have the control arm through the servo arm, and then the linkage is screwed on to the recommended length. And then we have a shouldered or a half-threaded screw here, and that will go through the linkage and the control horn.
You need a hex for that one.
Oh, need a hex driver for that one.
You think it's metric?
Probably. I would bet money. And so the reason this screw has that shoulder on it is so the section that interfaces with the control horn has less friction and it won't wear out over time from the sharp threads.
It's good design. I like it.
I do too. Definitely.
It beats 2 Z-bends.
I definitely was worried about like, oh no, I hope I don't have to make my own control leakages on this, because if I don't do it really, when I build the flight test planes, my control rods are always a little wonky, so I have to do a whole bunch of work to get it looking good. So the rudder has 2 little buttons on either side, and you just pinch those together to release your rudder or your vertical stabilizer. So is it the whole vertical stabilizer is the rudder? Do you call it a rudder, or do you call it your vertical stabilizer?
I don't know.
Or do you call it your stable rudder?
It's a big control surface.
Your vertical control surface. Rudder-ons.
I wonder how that would work.
Rudder-ons? Not well. Life before I kill it.
Yeah, but crash videos get more views than build videos.
That is true. Are those called unbuilds?
Re-kitting.
Re-kitting?
Now this was never really a kit, so.
I'm gonna go ahead and flip you guys around. We're gonna do kind of a once over. This is a situation we're at. So we installed our control horns, our linkages, and we can take our We can take our rudder on. We can put our rudder on. All right. Please don't unsubscribe. I don't feel comfortable doing that with one hand. Without.
It's alright. We still have to tighten down the horn. So.
Are you talking about? Oh, you're talking about the side. Okay, yeah. So let me show you this. So we've got this. We've got this mounted and centered, and then there's a small screw that will tighten that split.
Itty bitty screw.
Itty bitty baby screw with some Loctite on it, which is nice.
And some hex.
And then the rudder will just sit on the top, and the front peg slides into that arm. And it's cool that how they did that, because it's, I don't know, I think it's just a cool solution to like put everything like in line, you know?
You don't see it every day. Not too many airplanes have a full flying rudder. Just make sure that's tight.
So yeah, give you guys more once over. So here we go. We've got our nose cone. Slide the nose cone on and get you guys a.
Do you have limits set in your radio?
There might be rates. There might be rates in Expo from the last model.
I was expecting more rates. But.
We've got some red and green LEDs, and I'll show you guys the FPV system that I'll put in this eventually, but it won't be today. Today's just the initial build. But hey, this looks awesome. Thank you for helping me with this and for flying. Everybody, if you're watching this video, you've probably put a prop on a plane before. And if not, it's going to be pretty straightforward. So, this is our counterclockwise prop. It'll go on this side. Do they come with adapters? There's a bit of slop on there, which is slightly concerning. And I don't see any prop adapters. None in the bag. But that's all right. We're okay with that. We're going to go ahead and take our nylon lock nut, install. These are both regular threaded. Neither are reverse threaded, which is nice. I'm noticing that this is an amazing shot right here. It looks like I'm in the cockpit.
I gotta get the drill out of the way.
How'd that look, guys?
There's lots of room for lead in there. So
Okay.
If we get to that point. It looks like there's supposed to be a fastener to hold this in place.
There's 2 screws. Probably these small ones, I would assume.
But it's like there's supposed to be a piece of plastic that goes here, or
No.
some sort of spacer.
Maybe.
Look, you see that large hole?
Yeah.
Like,
no, if you look, there's wood here.
Oh, I see it.
The wood.
I didn't make the connection that wood's the same as the other.
So there's little wooden inserts in the nose, and then wooden inserts that slide up to it, and then you take one of these little screws and screw on. But I mean, with it being on the front.
That's a fancy battery.
With it being on the front, I mean, without any gear in it, I'm not worried about it. Screwing it on right now.
Okay.
I don't have to.
You have it up here? Go ahead.
She'll probably fly.
Oh, it'll fly.
Do you want me to give it juice? You want me to give it?
However much juice you want to give it. It's your airplane.
Woo!
Yeah, that'll take off vertical. This is the perfect time to fly it too, because it's dark enough you can see the lights.
Just from you guys, just so y'all understand why this man is maidening the plane and not me. This is why. I promise you guys, I will fly this plane. I do have experience flying planes. I'm not a bad pilot either. I just personally, this is still raining.
I'm not scared.
All right, well here. She's all yours.
You know, close the door real quick.
Yeah. This is just a quick proof of us doing things correctly. Do you want me to launch you?
I think I can overhand it pretty easy. There's plenty of room to grab onto.
All right. Whenever you are ready, sir.
Oh, we'll take off like a third throttle, half throttle.
Man, that thing is... It looks really good in the sky.
I like the light. We got it pretty close. I'm not even, that's hands off. I haven't done any trimming.
Really?
Yeah. I think it could use a click, but I don't know how to use the trim. So
They're just the normal, like, little trims next to each stick.
oh, there they are. Plenty responsive with the rates that we have.
Yeah?
Let's try a roll. Not bad. Yeah, loop.
How'd she fly?
Better than I expected. So this is full power. Keeps going up forever.
She's got lots of vertical.
Let's bring it up for a close shot.
How's the, how slow can you get her?
Well, we'll find out later. I'm gonna go low first.
She looks great.
Looks like something DJI would do.
It does kind of look like, yeah, or like something the Navy SEALs would use to spy on dolphins. I don't know.
Well, let's check out the stall. This is no throttle. Slows down. And it doesn't drop a wing. It just kind of mushes.
Doesn't drop a wing.
So
She
far.
just kind of, yeah.
I'm gonna take it up higher and do it a little bit more.
Okay.
See what it does. It's full up elevator.
She just kind of comes back to you real quick, huh?
Yeah. I mean,
Very stable
I'm
plane.
stupid with it, and it's just fine.
You think I should try flying it?
I mean, you wouldn't have any problems with it. I can tell you that much.
Okay.
It's probably more sensitive than you want, so you probably want to lower your rate
Lower the rates
for your comfort.
or add expo?
That's up to you. Elevator's fine, but the roll rate is probably more than you like, from what I understand about your flying style.
Okay. Yeah, we can lower the rates by maybe 15 or so.
Yeah, I'll bring it in.
All right, here we go. First landing with the HEEWING T2. Beautiful. Hey, that was great. Frying from the rain.
Just a mildly sprinkly day.
All right, you ready? I'm nervous.
I'm glad you're doing it with your left hand.
Are you recording?
Yep.
That was terrifying.
You get used to it.
I'm so used to launching my little like Raptor. And for that one you just like,
Just let go of it.
it's like just vertical and you send it. Man, she's pretty. She goes fast. I definitely think we should probably get her out of the rain now.
Well, the foam it's made out of isn't going to get hurt by the rain, and the motors won't get hurt, so.
No, do it. Let's do that. She sounds like a helicopter when she's gliding. Did you hear that?
I like that sound.
That was super cool. Alright, we'll bring her in. Maybe a little bit of throttle. Beautiful.
Yeehaw.
I just gotta install some safety features, like a throttle cut.
That's a good idea.
All right, the HEEWING T2 Cruza. This thing flies awesome. It's very docile. It was super easy to fly. I was nervous because of just how big it is, and I've never flown a twin engine before. No, I flew a UMX twin engine, and but it ended badly, so I was nervous. But hey, this is an amazing plane, and I'm excited to throw FPV on it and continue my journey with it. So thank you, HEEWING, for sending this to me, and we'll get back inside and I'll tell you guys my final thoughts. Hey, so it's the following day. I didn't have really time to go in and film the outro for this video. Adrian and I had some other things to get done. So a special shout out to Adrian for letting me film in his shop and for helping me get the plane kind of put together correctly and for making sure everything was cool on the Maiden flight. I really appreciate him for that. He doesn't have a YouTube channel, but he's a really cool guy. So if you guys want him to maybe make some videos, drop a comment down below and I'll let him know. This thing packs up amazing, super simple. It's all put together, so the next time I want to fly it, I just take it out, attach the tail and the fuselage to the shaft, put on the wings, and she's ready to go. So I did state I am going to put FPV on the plane. I've got a 1-watt video transmitter that has an onboard DVR, which is really nice. So I will install this with this Cadix SR2 Turbo. In there, we will do some FPV flights with it. Probably within the next week or so, I'll get to that, especially once the weather gets nicer. So I am not a big fixed wing person. I just really kind of dived into fixed wing this year. The only planes that I've built have been some like flight test foam board planes. And so the build process for one of these is definitely a lot more in depth. There's a lot more that goes into making this fly well, and there's just a lot more like, you know, it's kind of like arts and crafts when you build one of these, whereas this was just a super refined product to work with, especially as a beginner. Everything was kind of easy to figure out once we did a little bit of detective work, figuring out kind of what goes where. The only gripe that I have with the airplane is that the instruction manual is a bit basic. It does show you how things connect together, but it doesn't necessarily list all of the parts and where they go on the airplane. So some things you kind of have to use your power of deduction or your experience to figure out where those would go on the platform. So if I were to make any change at all, it would be just to make the instruction manual a little bit more in depth, perhaps like a step-by-step. Other than that, the assembly process was pretty good. We got it together in about an hour and a half, and that was with filming. So if we were just focused on putting it together, it probably would have taken a lot less time. The unboxing was very pleasant. Everything came in great shape. There was no damage to the plane or components. There was nothing missing, and everything just worked right out of the box. As soon as we installed our control horns and linkages, plugged in our receiver, everything was already trued, centered, and working really well out of the box. The maiden flight was very exciting for me. This was something I was nervous about. This is an expensive airplane, and although HEEWING did send me the airplane, I didn't want to, you know, crash it right off the bat. So I was very nervous about flying it. However, when I launched it, it was just super stable. I mean, it had zero problems with it. I mean, this thing has a great flight envelope. We had plenty of vertical, but we also could get it really slow and bring it in for a glide and landing. So it was a joy to fly. Really looks great in the air. It's very big, so it's very stable. And yeah, I had a great time flying it. So overall, I would say the experience was very positive. I would not recommend this as your first plane. If you are moving from FPV drones into fixed wings or just exploring fixed wings as a part of the hobby, I don't know if I would recommend this as your first plane. However, if you do have some experience with planes and you feel comfortable flying a larger model, then by all means, this would be a great model for you. I think that's it. So thank you guys for watching this video. I know it was kind of a long one. I really appreciate you sticking with me to the end if you're here. Make sure that you comment down below and let me know what you thought of the video. If you like the more kind of raw newbie experience, I just kind of wanted to bring you guys along and experience this with me as someone who's just now kind of getting into this part of the hobby. So very excited for what's going to come with the HEEWING in the future. And just thank you guys for being here. I really appreciate it. So until the next one, peace.